All right.
How's it going? How's it going, guys? How you doing?
Now, are you still in Thailand, like you were on the last podcast?
It was all a big lie. I'm sorry.
No.
So the last time we were talking, I was sitting right where I am now, except I had taken this map down off the wall because the map was going to betray the big lie I was trying to tell. It says
Il
Il
Mondo.
Mondo. Now, the cultured among you may know that Il Mondo is Italian for the world. However,
Includes the map of the world.
I was pretending to be in a different part of Il Mondo. I was pretending to be in Thailand, where they weren't likely to have Italian language maps hanging on the wall. And the reason for that was I wanted to surprise you guys in Slovenia.
And you did. You said, "Oh, I knew you were coming," and I knew he was coming.
I feel it is.
I felt it in his voice.
It felt a bit too. His tone, his face changed when he said he wasn't coming, to the point where I was like,
I've always been such a terrible liar. That's why I was a crap actor. That's why I had to quit the theater.
I was just about to make a joke. I believe that you're a failed actor. Thank you for taking that joke from me.
Then you'd also say, like, "Oh, what do you think? Should we try and get her over to Slovenia?" And then you never said anything from there. And I was like, Monty, guys, Monty.
But it was still nice to see.
Even when he was there, I lit up. I was jumped out of a moving car to go give him a hug. So,
to be fair, we crammed in that car going through the most perilous road over mountains and through valleys and over fjords and everything on the wrong side of the road in the dark. So it was more relief that we're at the hotel than pleasure of seeing you.
It was the like careful for landslide signs, and then actually having rocks across the road.
I've never seen that before. Jesus,
Jesus, that's crazy. Yeah. And you know, the couple of days after you guys left, there were huge storms in that area. 7 people died.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Flooding.
Those are some of the guys that I had that my death punch didn't kick in until a couple of weeks after.
I have a death punch as well. It takes about at least, maximum 100 years.
Oh, right. Okay.
So come on then, fill us in. What did you really do?
Okay, so I had been in Thailand and I had quit training. All that was true. I hit the wall at the training camp, and I was fed up. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I've got nothing to prove. I've gotten about as much out of it as I can, and I'm fed up. I could have just tipped along and trained less, but I was so fed up. I was like, I want to get the feck out of Thailand. I don't want to look at another noodle or another delicious Singa beer or another angry Thai man holding a set of pads saying, you know, I'm not going to say what they were saying because I'd have to do the accent to make it authentic, and then you guys would give out to me for being racist.
You've changed, mate. You used to be the wokest of all three of us, and look at you now. You're like 94
you guys.
One year amongst all the foreigners, and you're.
Oh. Well, I alluded to it before. I'm a little bit more racist coming home from these travels than I was going, but we won't get into it.
Can you be a little bit racist? Does that mean a little bit pregnant?
No, you can be a little bit racist.
Okay, I don't know. So you were sick of the noodles and you replaced them for pasta. You were sick of the beer and you replaced that for Moretti. And instead of angry Thai men holding pads, you've got Mughal Thai guys holding pads. But they smile.
Yes.
They do smile.
They do.
Right? Smile.
Yeah. Like, as Papa says, if you can't smile, you can't fight. Sorry, did I say?
So you fled from Thailand
Yeah, I fled. I changed my flights. I texted Paolo Sensei and said, "Can I arrive a couple of weeks early or however much earlier it was going to be?" And he said, "No problem." And yeah, I just I flew all the way to Zurich, and then I got but it was actually really hard getting out of Thailand. I had to travel for basically 3 days. There were overnight buses over the mountains through the jungles. I was absolutely bollocksed when I arrived in Zurich, and I had to get on another overnight bus. So it had been a few days since I'd slept in a bed. I was sleeping on a bus, sleeping on a train, sleeping on a plane. And then I got to Ljubljana in Slovenia, which is a beautiful town, and hung out there for 4 hours before getting another bus to Trieste. And I arrived in the dojo and hit this couch here and slept for about 12 hours. It was lovely.
Cool. So what date was that you got there?
Date. Uh, it was 4 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago.
It was four
Okay.
weeks. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, no, more like a full month. It was like 4 weeks plus change. So yeah, I've been here a
Okay.
month. Mm.
Cool.
And yeah, it's been amazing. It's been like the dojo here, like, you know, you hear me say it all the time, it's like a big family, but it really, really is. Everybody was so welcoming. Like my first karate class, everybody wanted to shake my hand and tell me their name and, where are you from? What are you doing? Nah, 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 nah. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So go on, tell us, how has this month been with Paolo Sensei?
Okay. Well, obviously he's an extremely famous karate instructor, but he's also very famous for his Chinese martial arts. And in total, I've been doing a lot more Chinese martial arts than karate. But as we all know, it's all the same. It's all karate. So yeah, qigong in the morning, followed by a little tai chi, followed by a little bagua, and then in the evenings we might do some pingxi, which is weapons training. So it's all been sword, like normal Chinese sword, but apparently sometimes he does spear or all sorts of different stuff. So done a fair bit of sword, which I really like, fair bit of bagua, um, loads of tai chi, and I am I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on the Tai Chi big time. I'm falling in love with it. It is also Qigong. It is literally standing meditation. It's all about visualization and intention, meditation, breathing, moving your arms a little bit. Um, Absolutely fabulous stuff. And yeah, and then karate like 2 evenings a week. And that's when we get to smash a little bit, when it all comes
Oh, so
together.
just twice a week, Mokoto karate.
Yeah. So the schedule is a bit reduced because it's summer holidays.
Hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
So what's he's been teaching you? He texted us and said that yesterday was a stormer over class, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's Paolo Sensei has been very busy. He's in the process of like he's got a lot going on. I won't go telling his business to everybody. He's just a busy man at the moment, dealing with a lot of different things. And last night, or actually for the last 2 weeks, somehow would you say the intensity or just like, yeah, the intensity just like started ramping up, and he started giving me a lot more attention. I think he was just letting me figure everything out for the first couple of weeks. And I thought, oh, he's busy. Maybe he's got a lot on his mind, maybe. But he was just doing his thing. He was giving me time. And then the last 2 weeks, he's been ramping up, ramping up, ramping up, using me more as an uke or as an example. And then last night was just incredible. It all came together, and he he a couple of times last night during karate class he'd just say, "Okay, attack," like Steve Sensei did when I was in San Diego, and it didn't matter what I did. He'd in the blink of an eye he'd like grab my hand by the fleshy part at the base of the thumb.
Yeah.
It's quite sore if it's like it's a reflexology point. If you stick your finger in there, it can be quite ouchy. In the blink of an eye, he had his fingers. I was punching him, and he grabbed my hand, twisted it round, and he had his fingers sticking into that fleshy part. And I was like, "Ah, ow, no, ow!" And he's just back straight, standing there, holding me in submission. It was incredible. The accuracy and the smoothness and the lack of effort. It was pure Tai Chi. It was pure brilliance. And then another time, I attacked right hand. I attacked with the right hand. He slipped past my punch and came around to stand behind me. Just a really, it was like Mike Tyson's footwork. And next thing, his arm was around my shoulder, but instead of going for the rear naked choke, he had his thumb digging into this part here, just above the breastbone at the base of the neck, and he was the strength. It was like a qigong thumb, It was like it was made of iron, and I it wasn't very cool. It wasn't very hard man of me. I screamed. Ah! He was, it was like a Tom and Jerry scream, Yeah. I couldn't do anything. If I tried to worm my way out of it, he'd press harder. He was like, "Come on, get out." And I'd start to move, and he'd dig it in again.
It's cool.
Sounds class.
Yeah.
So
So
what have you learned? What principles have you learned?
I've learned an awful lot about mentality and visualization. Also, just like well, I'll get back to the visualization thing. There were a couple of themes that kept coming back through the Tai Chi classes and then into the karate classes. The first one was Chikara, and he was talking about this in Bohin as well. It's yeah, he talks about the feeling of being rooted to the floor an awful lot. It's one of his. What? What's so funny?
He's just looking at him on the camera. He's like, are you laughing or are you practicing Chicana?
Oh,
The look is like,
yeah.
He's not-
I thought he was laughing too. No, he's back to. So yeah, Chikara being rooted to the floor. It's always been one of his teaching points whenever he comes to our dojo for sure. But he was linking it. He was teaching it through all these different martial arts that he teaches. He was making the principle relate to everything, and then bringing it through into karate class. And it was, yeah, definitely something. My modus operandi has always been to be very evasive, and also to be light on my feet and darting in and darting out again. It's what I try and do. And Shikara hasn't come into that at all. Being rooted and having your power come straight up from the floor like that. I rather just hurl my body weight through the air. And you're eventually going to get swept or caught off balance, so it's not ideal. So yeah, that was interesting. Very difficult for me, but something to work on. What else? There was that, and there was also this thing called Pong. In Chinese. It's Pong, and Pong is the name of one of the principles that he teaches in. He teaches these 8 methods or 8 principles in Tai Chi. One of them is called Pong, but you can have the feeling of Pong in everything you do. It's no matter what movement you're doing, there's a sphere somewhere. There's a sphere somewhere in the space between your limbs, uh, or something like that, and you visualize this sphere, and it gives you, or even like under your stance. Remember the way in Bohin, someone would do kibadachi, and he'd draw a circle with his toe in between their legs, and then once they're visualizing that sphere in between their legs, they're so much harder to move. So you do that with your limbs. Like one example he used was the opening move of Heian Nidan. Throw your arms up like that for Heian Nidan, and he draw that circle between your arms, and then he wasn't able to pull the arm down like that. So yeah, Pong. Calls that one Pong. I really, really loved that. And I was trying, even when you're doing all moves such as Lu or Lie or Ang or those other principles, those other main method moves in Tai Chi, you can always have this feeling of Pong. So that was another thing. And what else? There was one more I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, so the visualization thing. Well, visualization makes it sound very, basic. Like I'm going to visualize my fist hitting you in the face, but it's not. Obviously, it goes way beyond that, and it's just having a mentality, mm, that you've practiced through meditation or through training of being immovable, for example, for one, or not being afraid for another. He talks about uh, stopping a fight with a look, which he gave an example of in Bohemian as well, that the shark eyes thing that he did, you'll be curious, and as soon as he starts looking at you, like he's curious as to what you're going to do, you feel completely disarmed. And a lot of it, I have so many thoughts about it. It's an awful lot to do with say in sparring, it's an awful lot to do with who you're sparring. You defeat yourself before you even step up to the person an awful lot of the time. And that's a huge problem in karate, because as soon as you're sparring your sensei or your senior or whatever, you're like, okay, well, for one, I have to be respectful, so I'm not going to do anything stupid, or I'm not going to actually try and hurt them. But also, this guy is way better than me, so I'm, whatever happens, happens. So you've already lost because of your attitude. Paolo Sensei talks about a time in his karate training with Shirai Sensei where he stopped saying us. Everybody else was ussing away and bowing and kowtowing, and he was like, nah. And he and Shirai Sensei went way, 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 way back, so it's not, he could get away with it. Shirai Sensei. So what I'm getting at. Shirai, there was a line of people coming past Shirai Sensei, and they're, oh Sensei, and Paolo just walks by, and Shirai Sensei goes, oh, Paolo doesn't us anymore. Paolo looks and says, oh, you need it, Sensei? I didn't know.
Surely Paolo he went past on his Vespa going, ja.
It's far from a Vespa the yoke he drives. It's like a 1.9 liter Yamaha. It weighs, I think, 300 or 400 kilos. He looks like the Italian Terminator on it. Unbelievable.
Is that with as well as his Maserati?
Does he have a Maserati?
Yeah, he did. He's got a Mercedes now. Yeah, the SUV Mercedes.
Yeah, I was in the Mercedes.
Pick us up at the airport. You don't pick us up.
That was a Subaru. He doesn't have a Subaru anymore.
No.
Yeah. He likes Subaru. We talked about cars a bit, actually, me and Paolo.
Yeah. Well, you
anyway,
so yeah, your car.
He was in my car. I picked him up once in my little Honda. Yeah. And the Honda Jazz. So anyway, this thing about,
because you need those hands to push it.
No, I miss me wee Honda. I'm gonna get another one. Sorry, the coffee machine is making noise. Shut up. So anyway, mentality is huge for him. He talks about these great JKA senseis of the past, and sure, their karate is old school, but he says their zanshin was something extremely formidable, and that counts for an awful lot. If you can stop someone from attacking you with a look, like with either a scowl or a smile, then that's self-defense. But it doesn't work if you're pretending. It has to be real.
Okay.
So we had
Where
an update from you the other day. You sent a video to Tommy Senpai, of your unsu, just looking to see if you had any insights to your performance, and we were just saying that I was there filming him while he was walking through the kata and giving you his take on it. And you were saying that some of the things that you changed as a result of your karate, you changed a little bit of his performance, based on your karate journey. Some of the points that you changed were getting called out as maybe less of this, more of this, which I thought was quite interesting. Can you just highlight one of the points maybe that you've changed?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so us. Okay, so yeah.
There's no way.
That's a dad sneeze.
That's the loudest sneeze ever.
That's a dad sneeze right there.
So I am here trying to absorb as much of Paolo Sensei's karate as I can, but I'm also still trying to integrate what Steve Ubel Sensei was trying to get me to do when I was in San Diego. I'll probably be a lifetime trying to integrate it. But anyway, I was plugging away at Unsu. I was doing a little solo session in the dojo upstairs here. And I was plugging away at Unsu, and I was just trying to do it the way Steve Sensei had been trying to get me to do it. So I was I was leaning into all the points he had given me. There's a few things. I could give you two quick examples. The first move, where you're bringing your hands together just there under your chin. Steve Sensei doesn't connect his elbows. Wrong, Ross. Relax. Bring your shoulders down. Bring your shoulders back. Yeah. There's no need to have Steve Sensei says don't pull your shoulders forward like that. Always in the same natural position. Maybe give or take a little bit, but no, don't go to the extremes. So
Ooh.
Steve Sensei wouldn't go to the extremes there. And I'm going to I'm going to caveat all of this by just saying take everything I say with a huge pinch of salt because I'm probably misrepresenting what he meant anyway. Nobody can represent Steve Sensei but Steve Sensei. This is just my take on it. Okay.
Well, that does
So
sound exactly what you would say.
Yeah, you're
fair.
representing
Yeah,
teachers
exactly.
very well.
Exactly. Okay, so don't bring your shoulder into this extreme forward position. Don't connect your elbows there. Another thing is when he saw me doing hamni, everybody in the world knows I have very inflexible hips. So I'd pull my rib cage and my shoulder girdle back to make it look like I'm doing hamni. And he says, no. If your hips only go that far back, then make sure your shoulder girdle is in line with your pelvis. And if that's your hamni, that's your hamni. So it looks like I'm doing my hamni looks really it looks shammy. It doesn't look very hammy anymore when I'm trying to do that. So that was another thing. And Tommy Sensei saw my video and he's like, oh, more hammy and oh, kiss the elbows and all that, which is all brilliant. That's all Hombu Dojo karate, on point, on brand. But I was, I'm just in that video, like I said, I was trying to lean into all the Steve Sensei stuff. And it's not that I don't believe that I've got to do that forever. I'm just trying to integrate as much as I can now while it's still fresh so that later I can find balance or, hashtag find my own karate somewhere along the line. Just trying
Is
to
that a
bake it all
hashtag?
in and see.
Oh, that's
It's
hashtag.
I just hate cliches. You just throw a hashtag in front of a cliche and you sound a little bit more, you know.
So the general. I always do. I always have at the end of my videos the hashtag Taylor Swift because that gets
Yeah.
repeated a lot more times. That's why everyone always go hashtag Taylor Swift. And I always think there's a bunch of Taylor fans going, "What the fuck is this on my feet?"
Okay.
Cool. Someone's singing opera outside.
Oh, nice.
Not very well though.
Yeah. Well, that's the
So
type of neighborhood I live in, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, oh very. So yeah, that was so I've talked about it already, but one thing that is one principle that Steve Sensei will live and die by, big pinch of salt, everybody, is how practical it is, how useful it is if you need to defend yourself. So zero wasted movement, extreme efficiency, etc., etc. Whereas the way Paolo Sensei teaches karate is not like that. There is what you might look at and say that's a lot of superfluous movement and flapping your arms around and what you're stretch shorten cycle. Oh, it's too slow. It takes too long. Yeah. But for Paolo Sensei, application is not as important. What I believe is important, what I believe is important for Paolo Sensei is learning how to move through these superfluous motions. You find new ways to connect, new ways to have that stretch, shorten, that snap, the feeling of the spiral, the feeling of the wave, etc. And then, yes, you can shave it down until you can do it very efficiently and very quickly. But it's harder than you think. Extremely hard. Every time he brings up a student to say, okay, show me your oizuki, and then he'll test their connection, or show me whatever, test their connection. It's never there until he then says, okay, now do this, and then they do a wave, or they visualize the sphere, the pong, or whatever, and then it's there. So to learn to have that connection hard boiled into your technique takes a lifetime of training, I think.
I think like the way I see it, I'm like broadly like that, but Steve Sensei is 100% functional. Everything
Yes.
that he does is boiled down to what's the function of this. And it depends how you see it, right? Do you see karate as a functional set of techniques that will help defend yourself? Or do you see it as a training mechanism which gives your body greater functionality, which then completely disconnected really with the techniques of karate, you then use your body in any functional way? And I think, I mean, I know where Steve Sensei's coming from, and obviously he learned, he was in Japan before I was born. And so at that time, I'm sure it had far greater connection to the original functionality of it. But the moment you make a Zenkustachi, it's training mechanisms. The moment that you have an exaggerated long stance, then what you're doing is 100% training mechanisms to give your body functionality rather than functional training. That's what I think. And so,
yeah,
for example, Unsu with your elbows together, shoulder blades forward, and opening your back, closing your chest, and using that to open. Well, if he's kind of 100% functionality, is this feet together, back straight? Of course he can apply it really well, but he's never applying it within this form. He's never going to apply it. Like I've seen him apply it, and it's never within that form of feet together, back straight. And so once you're in that form, surely you can't pick and choose. You can't go, well, I'm going to have my feet together and back straight for training mechanism, but then have this as functional. It's either all functional or it's all training mechanism. And I think, obviously, what I think of Steve Sensei. I think he's amazing. I'll see him next weekend, and I'm really looking forward to training with him and teaching with him. But there is a little bit of I think, picking and choosing that sometimes I'm like, which one do you want me to do? You know what I mean? So, but that's also his genius as well, because what he's managed to do is produce this level of karate that is brilliant. And then you go, oh, wow, how old is he? And you go, oh, that's more than brilliant. That's superhuman. So, I'm not questioning him. I'm just realizing that when I train with him, I'm within that environment. Whereas Paolo is a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah. You said it all, Sensei. That's it exactly. And especially the fact that he seems superhuman, because he could make an oizuki work. So sure, it's a training mechanism until Steve does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You're right about. What's that?
I was saying, have you found any similarities? Because obviously there's a glaring difference between their training and teaching methods between Paolo Sensei and Steve Sensei. We always compare them because, in my opinion, like all the people I've trained with, Japanese instructors and other instructors in Europe, I feel like these two have hit a level that I've never seen from anyone else really before. And they've got their very different ways, and they're very unique, I think, in their training methods and stuff. But you've trained with them both now probably longer than most people have over an extended period of time. Is there any similarities? Apart from they both kick ass.
Yeah, they can both kick ass. They're both extremely connected and relaxed and fast, and they're both geniuses. And they've dedicated their lives to martial arts. What they have in common, for one, is that they're extremely knowledgeable, each of them, about biomechanics. I asked Steve Sensei about the fascia, and how does the fascia system come into whatever. I can't remember exactly what the context was. And Steve Sensei led on that people have exaggerated so much the role of the fascia system in, say, like a stretch shortened cycle creating a powerful punch. He says it's hardly worth consideration. It is like everybody took this one part of a study that came out and ran away with it. And yes, we've heard Paolo Sensei talk about the fascia system a handful of times. I've just been here a whole month. He didn't mention it once. So I think we need to stop taking everything they say as gospel, and realize that if Paolo Sensei talks about the fascia system, that is one grain of sand on the beach of his understanding of martial arts. He's not saying it's the be all end all. He's saying it plays a role. This is his understanding of how it works. So anyway, to get back to the point, they both are extremely knowledgeable about biomechanics and how the body works, and they use that in completely different ways. Steve Sensei does recognize the stretch shorten cycle, that it can be used, and there are certain moves in certain kata where it's like, oh yeah, that's a stretch shorten one, that's a whip, but not like this, not in a big exaggerated way. Whereas it appears that Paolo Sensei performs those moves in an exaggerated way to train you how to use it, like kindergarten karate. Like building blocks of movement. So that's one thing they have in common. Gosh, I got to think. I'm not really. Oh, they were both. So Chikara being rooted to the floor. It's actually something Steve was trying to teach me as well in San Diego. He's trying to encourage me to engage my hamstrings more. Something I'd never considered before while I was in my stances was my hamstrings. It was always like glutes and I don't know, quads or whatever, and core. But he says, when you get to this part of when you get to the execution of the punch, boom, engage the front and back hamstring and suck yourself down to the floor. Never considered that before. And when I found myself practicing Chikara and during Paolo sessions, it felt the exact same. So they just, again, here comes another hashtag. Hashtag martial arts is a mountain. We're all heading for the same peak. We're all just getting there by different paths.
Right, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah. It's all the same, but that's something great. They're also so different because, as we said, Steve Sensei lives and dies by application. I asked Paolo Sensei. He was teaching me one of his Makotokai karate, Makotokai kata. And I said, "Oh, Steve Sensei, what's the application for this move?" It was very strange. I'd never seen anything like it before. And he said, "Application is be happy and live a long time." He said, "Don't worry about application. Just do the kata. Be happy, live a long time."
That's great. Great stuff.
Yeah.
And who's we have another Hombu Dojo member in Trieste just now with you. How's young Gagik getting on?
Yeah. Gagi got here like a week and a half ago. He's loving it. I remember the first time I came here 5 years ago, Ross, you told me I drank the Kool-Aid. Like I got really carried away with how much I love Makotokai. He's doing the same. He's so excited. He's really impressed by Paolo. Yeah. He's loving his Tai Chi as well and his Qigong.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, he's getting on great. He's asking questions, being a good boy.
Okay, that's good. Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Those new guys will do well. Gagik switched on.
So he's there for a month, yeah?
No, Gagik is going to do 3 weeks. He's here for another week after me.
Okay.
And he's going
Have you
on
been
his own
making
little
him carry
adventure.
yourself?
What's that?
Have you been making him carry your towel and your bags and stuff?
No, I've been good. I haven't.
Here's €5. Go out and get me pizza. Bring it
He
back.
nearly dropped me. He nearly dropped me with leg kicks last night. He's like a horse. He's got that Armenian strength. Yeah, we got the shields. We got the the Kyokushin shields. And we were holding them on the legs and exchanging leg kicks. I did my first leg kick, and Gagik was like, "Whoa, I've never seen this before," and I was like, "Thailand, baby!" Yeah, and then he nearly broke my leg.
Cool.
That's great.
So, is this the last Karate Adventures podcast?
Yeah, I'm coming home tomorrow.
What are we doing here? Gonna just saw you next week. So
yeah, I'm gonna see you guys.
Tell us about your feelings. Actually, but before we do that, maybe we should have one more when you're back in the dojo, the three of us, one last one.
Over a beer.
Yeah.
Karate Adventures over a beer. Let's merge the elite podcasts. The Hombu Dojo Karate Adventures over a beer. Anyway, yeah. Well, so we could. But so you've been away. You've been to yonder places. What are your feelings now that you're flying back home tomorrow to see the sweet young Sarah?
What are my feelings? I'm dying to come home. I've been dying to come home for quite a while. Not that I haven't been, wishing my time away. I've been trying to enjoy every moment. but I have been missing home for a long time, especially when it's been tough. And it was really, really tough in Thailand. I went through a lot. Put myself through a lot. It's no one's fault but my own. So yeah,
You weren't
I've been
accepting
dying.
any blame. Don't worry about
I've been dying to come home for a long time. I've been really missing it. I've felt like I've been seeing a mission through. I've been like seeing this through to the end of the mission. I'm setting out to finish what I started. Staying here and training with Paolo Sensei was always going to be the last hurdle, the last sprint, the home stretch. So yeah, I miss Ireland so much. I miss everywhere I've been. I've just been like kind of wishing I had my people around me, you know?
In the Amazon jungle saying this place needs an Irish pub.
Yeah, exactly.
it. Probably one.
Yeah, I'm just excited to begin the next chapter.
And do you have a bit of news to share?
After podcast this.
Oh, after the podcast. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
I thought
Sorry,
he wanted to. He said share with the world.
Oh,
I thought he meant online. On the
sorry,
line.
Yeah, I did let on that I had a bit of news. I did let on that I had a bit of news, but it's private news.
Okay. I think it's this as well.
Is it the rash? Is it back? Is it spread north this time?
Just north, south, east, and west. It's like a Bagwajan kata. It's going everywhere. Oh, Bagua by the Bagua by the way.
Manny will put some cream on it. Come on.
Bagua, by the way, is so much fun. You know, with Qigong and Tai Chi, I'm kind of preoccupied that I'm getting it right and finding the connection. And, you know, it's very cerebral and you have to focus really hard. It's really mentally taxing. When I'm doing Bagua, I'm sure that I'm doing 1,000 million things wrong, but it feels so cool. You feel like a proper Shaolin, like ninja. Now, I know it's not a Shaolin martial art.
Shaolin ninja.
I know it. Yeah, Shaolin Ninja, man. Yeah, haven't you heard of the Shaolin Ninjas? I'm a 12th Dan Shaolin Ninja. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, feel awesome doing it.
Cool, that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing you.
So when
I'm
your
looking
first
forward to
training
coming
session
home.
back in the dojo?
Probably like a week and a half.
Huh?
A week and a half. I'm coming home to tomorrow. Spending a couple of days with Sarah, and then a couple of days home in Roscommon, and then yeah, next week.
Huh. I go to San Diego next week. And
Oh, are you going to be
then
gone for the whole week?
Yeah, and then I'm back for a day, and then I go to Spain.
You can come in and teach class, man.
Because I won't see you. I'll come and teach class.
I'm teaching this Monday, and then teaching 2 weeks on Monday, and then I'm not teaching again until Shirogeko.
Jesus.
You're gonna do. I'm a busy
Well,
guy.
I'll catch you at some point.
Busy guy. I'm a busy guy.
Yeah, he's busy covering my 2 classes a week.
And the camp. And everybody else's classes. Because we're on
Aw.
holiday at the same time, guys.
That's the karate benches. Cool. All right, then. Well, is there anything else? Because I've got a flight to Liverpool soon.
That's the crack. That's the crack. No other crack.
That's the crack. Well, safe journey back to the Emerald Isle tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
We look forward to seeing you. And
I'm gonna go check into my flight.
Okay, cool. And we'll maybe have this is the penultimate Karate Adventures podcast. We'll have one back in the dojo, maybe during Shirogeko.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
You can tell us about all your plans moving forward. And then maybe you'll ask us a question about our Karate Adventures, because I'm sick of asking you for a whole year and never once have you ever asked us, so how are you guys getting on? What have you guys been doing?
You levitated yesterday.
What?
You levitated. That's the level that we're getting to. Since
Oh my God. Look, guys, I'm the main character, okay? Everybody agrees. You guys are my fun, quirky supporting stars in the movie of my life.
That was one thing that made me laugh in in O'Hen was like you paired up with Tommy for a couple of drills in one of the classes, and you were like, "This is a Rokudan
Tommy was like a fucking torpedo. He was like a nuclear submarine, like this coming at you. And I was like, Jesus, this must be the Rokudan preparation that I missed out on. Man, yeah.
Did he have his shark eyes?
Yeah, yeah, the shark eyes.
little Irish badger,
Little honey badger.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go. Right. Well, enjoy your final night in the sunny Trieste. Get ready to come
Us.
back to not so sunny Dublin.
No, I can't wait to see gloomy owl Dublin.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Oh,
Oh,
ciao.
ciao.
Okay.